Hi friends, Shalon Day here with Bible Journaling Ministries, and today we are going to collage an entry for Habakkuk 3, 18, and 19. And I'm going to be using a napkin, ribbon, buttons, glass squares, glue dots, Elmer's glue, gesso. We're going to be using all kinds of things to create our collage entry. So go grab your supplies and meet me back here. Let's take a look at this beautiful 3-page kit for Habakkuk 3, 18, and 19. And from the World English Bible, those verses read, "Yet I will rejoice in Yahweh. I will be joyful in the God of my salvation. Yahweh, the Lord, is my strength. He makes my feet like deer's feet and enables me to go in high places." I'm going to open us just in a word of prayer before we look at this gorgeous kit. Father, thank you so much for just the time that we get to spend with you. Thank you for wanting to fellowship with us. Thank you for wanting to spend time with us. And Father, I just pray that whoever is watching this, Lord, that you would wrap your arms around them, that your Holy Spirit would comfort them if they need comfort, would heal them if they need healing, would just let them feel your presence. Thank you for all you do every day in our lives. And Lord, thank you for the opportunity to just spend time with you as we dig deeper into your word and as we grow creatively in your word. In Jesus' name, amen. So this beautiful, very bright colored kit, we have flowers, different kinds of flowers. We've got ladies' hands that are holding flowers that shape into a heart. On the first page, you also have your verse or your verses here, your word fetty, your tab, 4 different kinds of washi tapes, your hearts and crosses. The second page, you've got girls that have the flowers holding them by their stems, and it looks like they have on flower glasses. Very cute. Now, I did print the first and third page of this kit on sticker paper and cut it out. The second page, I have gotten into the habit of printing this on cardstock so that when I send it through my silhouette machine, then my Faithdex cards are ready to go. And so if there are elements on here that I want to use on my Bible page, I just simply use double-sided tape, a glue stick, or glue. So on the second page, you've also got flags, more washi, and some more crosses. Then the third page, you've got the larger ladies' hands holding the heart bundle of flowers, larger flowers, word fetty, and your crosses. Now, I am going to be utilizing, obviously, the kit, but I'm also going to be using a napkin. And this napkin, I ordered it from somewhere, but I loved it because it has the Eiffel Tower on it. And I have always loved the Eiffel Tower, but the colors in this napkin just so beautifully match this kit. And of course, it's got the flowers, so many different flowers. And so I'm going to utilize this napkin. We're going to put this napkin down into my Bible. But I also want to use some ribbon. And so this is going to be a shorter, maybe not quick, because we're doing the napkin technique, but it's not so involved. But I am using this ribbon. I haven't decided which ones yet, but anyway, we're going to be using this ribbon along with our napkin and our kit to just create a beautifully collaged page. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my Bible. And again, I use a specific Bible that I have set aside specific to my momentum journaling. And that's all this Bible is utilized for. It's not my study Bible. It's not anything that I carry with me. It's only here at my desk. It's only when I want to Bible journal with momentum devotions or the bonus kits. So it just so happens that the page that these verses are on in my Bible has a lot of empty space. And so that makes me very, very happy. So I'm going to be able to use my napkin over a lot of my page. And then I'll be able to decorate it more with the ribbon and the elements from the kit. I have my gesso and my paintbrush. I'm just going to move my Bible to the side for a moment because I have to get this napkin, the layers off of it. So I just want one layer of the napkin. And this is sometimes tricky for me. Sometimes when I buy napkins, I never know if they're double layered or single layered, like double ply. This one is double. So I just very carefully remove the backing. And I know that this is very, very large, but I'm going to cut it and then I'll just fold up what I don't use and use it again on a different project. And when I use what's left over, it's already going to have the backing off of it. So that will save me a little bit of time. Not pulling very hard, very gently. Sometimes they're not this easy to get the other layers off of the back. That one worked out rather nicely. Now I'm going to see, I know that I want at least to get this Eiffel Tower on here because I love it. Ever since I was young, I've always had a thing about the Eiffel Tower and Paris, France. And when I was young, a young 15 years old, I was actually able to go on a trip and go to Europe, and I got to see the Eiffel Tower in person. That was literally a trip of a lifetime, and I was very, very fortunate that my mother was able to allow me to go and experience that and to see something that I've always wanted to see. So I'm trying to figure out if I want this Eiffel Tower and this key to be at the very bottom of the page and include this blue and white little floral image, or if I want to bring it up I guess I need to see where on my page the verses are. So it's not going to matter anyway. Okay. I want to mark this napkin because I am going to tear it along here. Let me cut the side first. So I don't mind to tear it along the top, but because I would like to salvage and be able to use this napkin for other things, because I only have one, I'm going to cut it rather than tear it. Then I will set my other side. Now that makes it a little easier for me to work with. Then I can just bend it down. Now I'm able to tear it. And again, I'm not worried about a perfect edge or anything like that because I'm going to be utilizing my ribbon and the other elements, or the elements on the kit. So even if it has a rough edge, it will be okay. Okay, that works out good. So now what I can do is I'm just going to put gesso down on this bottom part of the page. Then I'm going to lay my napkin down. I'm going to let it dry. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to put another layer of gesso over top and let it dry. I'm not worried about this overhang here because I can just trim that off before I put my tab on my page. So, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and put the tab on my page. So then that is just taken care of. It's out of the way, and I don't have to worry about maybe it not sticking with the gesso or on the gesso. And then I could just actually kind of cover it with my napkin. Okay, so I'm going to speed up the video as I put my gesso down. One thin layer on my page. I'm going to lay my napkin down, smooth it out gently, and then once this layer has dried and my napkin is there, I'm going to add another layer of gesso on top just to seal it, and then I will be back with you once that has dried and we move on to the next step. So my gesso is fairly dry, and I'm fairly confident in it enough to move on. But while I was waiting for this to dry, I got into some of my boxes that I have, and I found a box of little glass pieces and bottle caps and little mirrors, and then I also found my little box of buttons. So I pulled some buttons out, and I pulled some little glass pieces out that I'm also going to use in my entry, and I'm just going to attach these using glue or glue dots. But I also found just some little bitty gemstones. And I mean, they're super tiny. Like this bag it's got a whole bunch of little gemstones and hearts and crosses and things like that. So I may embellish my page a little more utilizing these along with my ribbon. But I added to my original plan. Imagine that. So I just wanted to show you that. You can use all kinds of different things that you have on hand to journal with, to add, and to create your own unique collage. So I'm kind of bending this over because it is, it's extra. And look what I did. I pulled that off. But it kind of tears off easily. And I'm not too worried about this. That just came off a little bit, but that keeps me from having to try to cut along the edge of my paper or page, Bible page, and risk snipping my page. So I can cover that up. Just always remember, if you make a mistake, there's always a way to cover it up. So I'm going to move on now, and I have not highlighted my verses. I'm actually going to utilize the washi tape, this real thin polka dotted washi tape, to outline or make a box around my verses, and use that as a way to quote unquote highlight. Now I have my verses highlighted. And then I'm going to add some of these elements to my page. I'm going to start with the large word fetty. Nope. Yes. I'm sorry, I am indecisive today. You know, I think this is a great verse just to remind me that it doesn't matter what I'm facing or what I'm going through. And there's so many verses in the Bible that, you know, rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say rejoice. And I think that oftentimes in life, we forget that. And it becomes so easy to get caught up in our circumstances and what is going on around us that we forget to rejoice and we forget to have joy in the Lord, even when things are tough. And like I said, there's a lot of verses in the Bible that talk about rejoicing and having joy in the Lord, and, you know, kind of reminds us of what our posture should be. It should always be in rejoicing. So I'm focusing right now on just my elements because I want to get those put down and set, so then I'm able to come back and utilize my buttons and my little clasp pieces and maybe some gemstones as well. Now, because these are printed on cardstock, they just kind of pop out very easily. And I'm going to use glue dots. I'm going to use these very small double-sided glue dots. I'm going to have dimension added with these little glass pieces and my buttons. So I want to add dimension to my girl here. And glue dots are a great way to do that. Adds dimension to your page. And it really does make collaging interesting because of that added dimension. I think so anyway. And because they're double-sided, I can stick these down and then just take the backing off. Now, when I add pieces like this, when I utilize the collaging technique, it does make my Bible chunky. That doesn't bother me because it is, up off the page. And I thought about using some scrapbooking paper, some different colors and designs of scrapbooking paper. And then I decided against it because I really loved this napkin. And there's just so many options when you utilize collage in your journaling because, you can use anything to create your entry. I'm going to hang on to these because they might be useful with my buttons. But I want to put my girl, I was going to put her here, but I really, I like that. So I don't know, let me see if I can show you. She's up off the page. Can you tell how she's sticking up a little bit there? Not too much, but just enough where she's not flat on the page like everything else. So now I want to utilize ribbon. And I don't know where I got these. Probably Hobby Lobby if I were guessing. But this one especially just really matches the color scheme of everything. And I love the polka dots just to add something different. So I think I'm going to use, I don't know, what about, I wonder if this pink, no. I'm going to use the polka dots because that is really fun, I think. So I'm going to add it down here at the bottom. And I'm going to use regular Elmer's glue to add this to my page. Just regular Elmer's school glue. I'm going to turn my ribbon over. And I'm not going to go too heavy on my ribbon. And I'm going to stay right in the middle, but instead of doing like a whole line, I'm just going to kind of dab the tip as I go along. Like that. Not too heavy. I'm actually going to turn this. And I like to put it right down in the gutter. And again, glue is it's going to give you the ability to kind of move it, but don't press too hard where you squish all the glue out. So I'm going to put another layer, and I'm going to utilize this on top. I'm going to do the same thing, just dot, 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 dot along the middle. Oops, come back here. Very lightly. And I'm just covering up, so that turquoise ribbon had 3 dots, or three lines of dots. So I just made sure that when I layered this, it is even across that first layer of dots. I'm going to just take and cut small strips of this ribbon. Just a few. Different lengths. Not too many. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this ribbon that I used. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm just going to lay these kind of I'm just going to lay these pieces randomly. I'll speed up the video so you don't have to watch me do that in real time because it's going to take a little while. So I'll be right back with you. So I'm going to give those some time to adhere really well. But I'm going to move on. I am loving the way that this is turning out. I really am. So now my next step is going to be to add some of these buttons. And I've got several that I found in my little box that would work. And then these little glass pieces. And because this is, it's not really in the center of the Bible, but I'm not too worried about the thickness of these. My Bible here is getting quite chunky anyway. So it doesn't bother me. I'm okay with that. So I'm going to take some of these buttons and I'm going to use glue dots. But I think, I mean, on a couple of these little ones would be okay. But some of the other ones I'm going to use larger glue dots because I want to make sure that they adhere well. So I'm going to grab a couple of other sizes of glue dots. So I've got 3 different sizes here. So I'll just use what I think will work. Not going to use the glue dots on the glass pieces. Instead, I'm going to use my glue here. If I decide to use these, which I'm still debating on that. So I used one of the larger glue dots. I'm just going to put it in the center of my button right there. Make sure it's adhered really well on the back. And then I'm just going to add it on top of my ribbon there. I'm going to use this little turquoise one. I'm going to use a little bit of a smaller one for this. But these are flat backed buttons, and so I don't mind using them in my Bible. Like this one has an indentation in the center, but the back of it is smooth. So you could actually use either way that you want, but I like to just make sure that they're flat on the back and they don't have the little, you know, sometimes you get the buttons that have the little handle thing on the back. So I always just make sure that when I'm buying buttons that they are flat backed. I think I'm going to add some of these other flowers. And I've almost talked myself into covering up the Eiffel Tower, but not completely. So we'll see how that goes. But I want to add some more of these smaller flowers. I'm going to add a button here. I think I'm going to use this turquoise button. And then I'm going to use this other kind of blackish gray, silvery, glittery button. Just kind of down here. I am really loving this entry. So I'm going to take this clear, these are kind of thick. I mean, like even thicker than my buttons, but with these glue dots, it's not any different. So I'm really not scared to use those. So I'm just going to add some glue because my glue is going to dry clear. Whereas my glue dots would show through because these are glass. Oh my goodness. I love this. And I don't think I'm going to end up using my gemstones because I really like the buttons and the glass pieces on here. I am, however, going to utilize my hearts and my crosses. So on this clear piece, I'm going to add that heart there. I'm going to call this done. I'm going to call this finished. I like it. And then I have some things left over that I can use on my Faith Decks cards. But this was a very fun entry, and it does fill my heart with joy. And didn't damage on the backside. Still a little wet from the gesso or the glue, and that's okay. It will dry. But I will rejoice in Yahweh. A collage with a napkin, with our kit, with ribbon, buttons, and glass beads. If you enjoyed this, leave us a comment. Give us a thumbs up. If you're watching on YouTube, please don't forget to click that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. I can't wait to be with you again. And until next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you. Thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.